This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
It's Paul Allen, mad producer by my side, and it's a Wednesday, which means Parker Fox joins 9 to noon out of the gate. How'd the power trip go for you today? And good morning.
And good morning to you. It was a beautiful show. Not the most beautiful day outside. We're getting into that fall weather a little bit, but we had fun. We actually did a little an NFL history trivia. We went 4-7, so not a great record.
Remember
tough
any of the questions?
Who invented the shotgun was one of the questions.
Oh, who invented the shotgun formation?
The shotgun formation. Yeah.
Oh, geez, Bear Bryant.
Do you know it, Nordo? Do you know that answer?
Oh, I have no idea.
No,
okay, I couldn't remember the answer.
I was trying to Google it here and then pretend that I
he'll get it. He'll get it. What else?
Which team went 20 winning seasons? Which team has won 3 championships in 3 different cities?
20 winning seasons, Steelers.
I think the answer, well, that's what we guessed, was Steelers. And I think the answer was Dallas Cowboys.
Mother!
Yeah.
What else?
3 cities winning 3 AFC or NFC championships in 3 different cities. That was a tough one.
Oh, geez.
Well, what is it? It's Rams or Colts.
Yeah, I think the answer was Rams.
I'll just go Rams. I would have gotten that right.
That one.
Hey, is it Red Hickey going backwards, by the way? Red Hickey?
Red Hickey.
Did he invent the shotgun formation?
Who's head Ricky?
It was the team that invented the shotgun.
Niners?
Yes, it was the Niners.
Yeah,
whoa.
It was the
Red
Niners.
Hickey is the gentleman in particular.
Okay.
I wonder what led to the concept, because if you look back at football, there was a time the goalpost didn't have just one. It had 2 posts, and it was in the middle of the end zone or towards the back. So they would use it for picks, and people would get hurt. You would look back at it, and you'd be like, all right, well, when they invented this thing, who decided to put this potentially lethal contraption in the middle of the place everybody's trying to score? It's akin to hockey. When it was invented, who decided the one facing the 100-mile-per-hour shots, the goaltender, doesn't wear a mask?
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
How did they come to that conclusion out of the gate? It's crazy.
So apparently, and this is via AI, which is horribly off sometimes when it comes to sports stuff, Hickey devised the formation to give his QB, of course, Y.A. Tittle, more time to see over the D-line and pass because of the Colts and their strong pass rush in a November 1960 game. And a formation was born.
Okay. Who invented the pistol formation?
Oh my gosh.
And why is the pistol formation even a thing? It's one thing that I just never really understand.
Like, why is it named that?
Well, no, it's like, why do you do it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the quarterback's in a short shot, short shotgun, tailback closer to, or backfield employee closer to quarterback than if quarterback was under center. So I just don't know.
Doesn't make much sense.
I think I've asked Kevin O'Connell this too, and I'm sure he answered it, but I just don't know what benefits you get out of the pistol formation.
Yeah, if KOC had an answer, I would probably agree with his answer, then go into mine.
So Chris Alt was a Nevada coach in 2004, popularizing it for Mr. Kaepernick.
Really?
That's again, AI subject to scrutiny.
With the pistol.
With the pistol.
Wow. And it worked. I mean, Colin, for all the controversy with Colin was he was a Air Country quarterback back in the day, don't you think?
Oh, he certainly was. He was
got to a Super Bowl.
He was fun to watch, man.
Anybody who embarrasses the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau, got no problems with them.
I think that was a historical game for quarterback rushing yards.
I believe it was.
Something like that. Well, yours truly happens to be in quite the good mood today. And here's why. I know everybody's excited for me. Because I rolled into work thinking Mad Producer, the producer of 9 to Noon, was going to be super sour. You see, yesterday in our League Freak long winding draft, he got sniped on Amen Thompson, Josh Giddey, Miles Turner, and Nikola Vucevic.
Yeah.
The hope as I walked into the building this morning was that the producer was not moody and pear-shaped. So I walked into the side studio and we made eye contact. And then we shook hands as we are wont to do to start every single day. It's either that or a hug.
Yeah.
And I said, you all right? And he dropped a couple of expletives, and he said, no, actually, I'm good now.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to try to outscore everybody with all these guards. And, who needs Amen Thompson and players like that?
Well, I think it's a compliment because people are taking the players that I'm identifying, and that just speaks to how formidable I am.
And I woke up thinking about it.
Oh, I'm going high flying this year, man. It's triples, it's points, it's free throw percentage. Oh. I got guys that can defend. I got 5-cat, 6-cat guys across the board. Khan's feeling good about himself.
That's great because I thought you were going to be sour.
Well, no, I need Vucevic, man.
Glad you're not.
I love Vucevic.
Predictable Wild loss last night.
It's a bonus.
Back-to-back with travel against a team they rarely beat. Yeah. And good morning.
Yeah, the Wild, I caught about the middle of the second period there. They look slow, man. I know it's the beginning of the season. I know you're on the road. You got a little road trip here. But there just wasn't the intensity. I talked to Mark Parrish about it on the Power Trip a little bit. Just kind of his thoughts of it was it's early in the season. Guys aren't trying to have these crazy bumps and bruises yet. There wasn't as much intensity. It's a road game, the whole deal. And as you know, PA, from the history of the Wild Stars kind of matchups, they've had our number. Mm-hmm. So that's a tough one, but I think you bounce back and you go to the nation's capital next for your next game. But the one thing the Wild's got going is their power play. That thing is efficient right now.
Mick Tocchet about 11:20, 9 to noon. Well, they had pep in the step, and they had some vigor behind the effort, and they had the early season intensity when they cut that thing to 1 with like 6.5 minutes to go. And Parker got excited.
Fired up, man. No, it's a fun time right now. I was actually one other thing I got to do yesterday. What was really exciting was go to Capitol Club and listen to Tim Conley speak. I know we were talking Wild, but if you know me, I'm a huge Timberwolves nut. And to listen to Tim Conley, kind of our leader and a really kind of forward thinker, especially with the way he's really introduced some of these foreign guys. He obviously drafted Nikola Jokic. He's really high on Berenger. Says that Berenger could be the best defensive player in the league one day. So it's just some really cool stuff listening to Tim Conley speak.
When is that day?
Yeah, hold on. Late round flyer here. Hang on. I'm in a fantasy draft right now, Parker. I need to know.
I don't know about this year, Nordo.
Okay,
I'll pump the brakes on it this year. I
I
don't know there's a whole lot of minutes with Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, and Julius Randle kind of holding down the front court. But the future is in good hands. Hopefully we see some, flashes from Rob Dillingham this year, and then you move forward with a guy like Berenger. I think only 17, 18, 19 years old.
There's got to be one of the three.
Yeah, one of those three. But he's
Let's
young.
Throw 20 in just to cover them all.
Throw 20 to cover. But he's young, he's long, he's athletic, and he was in like a second league in Latvia, and just kind of has just sparked. So I'm really looking forward to what he could be.
Because the con artist is so well respected in League Freak.
Yeah.
And in a short amount of time. I'm not going to say the name. You guys can figure this out if you are so inclined, which you probably won't be. And I'm not even going to say exactly the day. I'm just going to say within the last 2 days, watching NBA League Pass.
Yeah.
I caught a 19, soon-to-be 20-year-old player off the bench from somebody I'd never heard of, and the guy balls.
Really?
And he's going to play 23-plus minutes this year for said squad.
Oh, come on.
And he's a baller, and I'd never heard of him. Hey.
Western Conference or Eastern Conference?
I'm not. Wait, you just said that,
Benedict Mathurin?
The con artist is so well respected.
Is it the Zealous cat in Chicago?
Nope. Everybody's sniping his players. I woke up this morning thinking about the Con's basketball team. So you got to do a little work with this, Con.
Now I'm going to spend the next hour. It was good talking with you, PA.
This is like my Torrey Horton pick a little bit too.
Can I ask you a dumb question? So whether it's Berenger or it's off the top of my head, Sikorsky?
Yeah, Rocco.
The other cat? Mm-hmm. So how do you develop them in the near time?
The one really nice thing about
that's just Iowa then, right? Like they're chilling down there.
Exactly. That's the one thing the NBA has done a really good job. And the nice thing about the Wolves is it's right there, right? Des Moines is just down the road, as we say up here in the Midwest. But that's obviously something that you look at in terms of these young guys, putting them in Iowa, letting them kind of rock out in terms, I would say, which means go down there and have success.
Yeah.
Basketball is such a confident sport. Like when you're shooting jumpers, I think Rocco is a guy specifically where they want him to stretch the floor. They want him to shoot the three. If you're doing that, if you're hesitating, you're not the type of player you need to be. So being able to go down there and shoot them freely, get them up at free will is important. But then Berenger is a guy that I see sticking up here in Minnesota a little bit more. Obviously injuries happen, depth happens. It's 82 games. But he's very Rudy Gobert-esque. He's obviously, from Europe, just like Rudy is. But I think there's a lot that he can learn from Rudy in terms of defensively rebounding, affecting shots, and maybe not even blocking shots, but being there to affect them. I think Berenger is a guy that we see in the Timberwolves roster, even if he doesn't play a lot of minutes, kind of hanging up here with Rudy Gobert.
Is there's a physical aspect of this, I assume, as well, where, Berenger, what is he, 6'10", 6'11", somewhere in that neighborhood? Maybe he's 7. I don't know. But at 18 years old, when we're talking about his age, there's like a year from now, he could have 15 extra pounds of muscle, like learning how to even just take the hits inside and be a physical presence. At that age, like, he may not even be done growing, and so getting the physical aspects of the game down too.
Well, yeah, and Tim Conley talked about that yesterday, right? Where it's like you haven't played at this level.
I wasn't there. You were at the Capitals.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he talked about this, where you haven't played at this NBA level, right? This is the highest level in sports. He was in, like I said, like the second league in Latvia, and it was, not the greatest basketball, but he was able to show glimpses there. And then Tim Conley said they worked him out in a local gym about a week before the draft, and they were just blown away by how athletic, how explosive he is, and those are all great things. But I think you're right, Nordo. What's the next step in that? Well,
hopefully he got paid in advance.
Yeah, true, right? Yeah, no doubt. But it's gaining weight, it's gaining strength, it's being in the weight room, it's all those good things. But then there's also there's some of that strength that just comes with experience, and when you're going to take the bump, when you're going to cut, when you're going to Euro step, when you're going to make the extra pass. So I think experience will be big for the young 18-year-old.
Sweet.
Well, as the Wolves bent goes, I happened to do a radio interview yesterday in the Sacramento market with a longtime former Sacramento Kings play-by-play guy, Grant Napier. We've been friends for multiple decades, and he asked me about the Timberwolves. And as we were talking it out a little bit, all I kept coming back to was, like, quote, quality squad.
Yep.
No doubt about it. But what about OKC?
Yeah.
What about OKC? It just seems they're so far ahead of the crowd. Am I wrong?
No, they are. They really are. And they showed it last year. It was something where Tim Conley also spoke on that you've gotten there twice, right? You've gotten to this Western Conference Finals, but I think both of them were 4-1. So it's like, you're close, but you're really not that close. There's levels to this as we discuss across all professional leagues. And Oklahoma City's there at the peak right now. They got, that three-headed monster in Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And to bring that down, you got to be really good. You got to be either shooting the ball at a really high rate or something's got to be going right. But it looks like they're going to be the cream of the crop again this year.
With the NBA beginning next week, the regular season. The common thread through this part of the preseason has been injuries, where just the last couple of days, pretty significant injuries to Kobe White for the Bulls and Jaylen Brown for the Celtics.
Oh my gosh.
He's not listening. 3-2.
Because I'm trying to determine whether you're talking about Donovan Clingan or Kal-El Ware from Miami in terms of the guy that's going to get extra minutes and he's balling.
Ware's a stud, man.
Anything different?
Josser Thompson is who it is.
Anything different you'd like to see with Anthony Edwards this season?
Yeah, I just want to see his decision-making continue to improve. We all talk about his finishing. I think that's evident to Ant. He needs to be a better finisher around the rim. Yeah. His left hand needs to be better around the rim. And then sometimes just go up and dunk that thing, man. Like, go finish the play. You're athletic enough. You're already up there. So I think that's where I start with finishing around the rim. And then, like I mentioned, playmaking. He's going to get double teams. Defenses are going to shrink in around him. There's opportunities for him to be primary ball handler a little bit this year, depending on what happens with Rob Dillingham and Mike Conley and Dante DiVincenzo situation at the point guard.
And Julius Randle.
At the point forward. Yes.
That point Randle thing is going to be a thing.
We like that. Yeah. I think Tim Conley really does like that as well. But I do see Ant with the ball in his hands starting offense. That means the defense shrinks in? Where are your shooters, right? I think that's something that we're not as good as this year. We're missing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to kind of take over that role. Probably not as good of a shooter yet, better athlete. But where's your decision making? You know, are you dumping it off to Rudy? Are you spraying it to the corner to Naz Reid? Can you improve in that aspect? I think those are the 1 and 2 punch for Anthony Edwards.
I have a common thread in my Twitter feed. Been the case for about a week. Just cracked open the tweet machine for 9 to noon today. Hit notifications. First tweet I look at from a Peter Fazzino. Brosmer time. Oh my gosh. Brosmer time. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like Brosmer time, and this Minnesota Vikings quarterback situation's beating your boy down a little bit, and here's why. Because it's always JJ season. It's always JJ season and will be JJ season for yours truly and us for hopefully quite some time.
Has to be.
Amen?
Yeah, it has to be. Yes.
Okay. If Carson Wentz is healthy, he gives them a better chance right now to beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
He does.
Amen?
Yes. Amen.
And Brosmer is talented and smart. Now, I don't necessarily think it's going to get to the Brosmer situation.
Yeah.
But it's like before I left on the vocal maintenance days, then through O'Connell yesterday, texting with Nordo, getting a question from Nordo, who's apoplectic in the side studio at 8:42 this morning, saying, has to be Wentz, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It just
has to be.
It's just, yeah, but when I left, you were like, it has to be McCarthy. It's this whole thing. Let's just get to the game Sunday, boom, at noon, you know?
Taylor and I will be there too. Super fired up.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. But I think you're right, PA. As long as Carson Wentz's non-throwing shoulder is healthy enough to go out there and play, he's the guy you got to play.
And that's not an indictment on the two game past performances of the Michigan kid or casting the gaze the way of ages 22, 23, 24, 25, and so on.
What does he go 9 for 9 in that last drive to win the football game? And you see that nice. as a head coach, and you're not going to play him against an Eagles team that's lost 2 straight to the Broncos and Giants. So I think the Vikings are
O'Connell, if they're both healthy and healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
And he uses Carson Wentz, and this is with all due respect to somebody of whom I'm very fond, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, likewise for his family. If that's the case, then he has to make it elevator music. What he sees online, what he hears on the radio, what he sees on TV, what he reads in print, it has to go in one ear and out the other, because there will be those in the functioning clickaholic society who are going to be casting or going to be taking the leap that they don't like the kid. You know, they're already bored with the kid. And I think Kevin takes that stuff personally.
Yeah, and I think JJ's got a good, head on his shoulders when it comes to that stuff. There's a reason why you win a national championship. You know what I mean? There's a reason why you get to those levels. You have to be pretty mentally tough. People are saying maybe LA against his former head coach, all these different rumors. But if you ask me, completely candid, I say you rock with Carson Wentz until you can't rock with him no more.
Why?
I just feel like he's the guy.
Well, you got to start with the kid sooner or later.
Yeah, you do. But I think he's the guy right now. I think this Vikings team has enough pieces to go to a special place that you have to rock with the person that's making it work. Now, if that's, you're throwing JJ in for a possession here and you're tickling it a little bit and you're seeing what happens. I love that aspect.
Well,
tickling it?
But see
what's
this
happening?
Tickling the fancy.
Yeah.
See, this talker beats a brother's mind down. Because yes, I agree with what you're saying, but they drafted and raised the kid who may have 2 good ankles for this for now.
Well, but I also look at like a Jordan Love situation where you sat for 3 years. And I look at some of these other situations where you had to kind of pay your dues. You got to, study defenses. And I think JJ's already really good at that stuff. But also there's the ankle injury. So if you're not fully healthy and you throw a young guy out there who's not able to perform at the best of his ability, that's deteriorating some mental health, some confidence, all that kind of stuff. So,
but if said kid knows his ankle is healthy enough to play and you make the decision to use the other guy, that hits the heart and the confidence more.
That's a problem.
Yeah, right.
That's where you got to be really tough as well.
Okay, 3-2.
And all love to Carson Wentz. I don't think he has provided this material standard of greatness over his time. He's done the right things, and what's up against him here is he's new to the mix and you need a runway and all of those things. But I'm very appreciative, and in particular, you guys mentioned it, 9-9 on that game-winning drive. Loved it. But to that end, that's the key for me. If he's healthy, he plays. But the subjective nature of it is that he's got to be healthy, and from the coach's standpoint, he's been not definitive in many ways, but he's been pretty clear on, I need my cat playing full weeks of practice. I need that full normal lead up. He's only practiced once since the Chicago game.
Yep.
That's crazy. So he needs full weeks, which means he needs full health, which means I'm all in. It's JJ season for me, but it's it's a Carson for now is really what it is.
All right, in closing, what's this waggle thing you reposted on X featuring your soon-to-be wife?
Yeah, it's a golf brand. They've partnered with Taylor for a couple of years now, and now Brock Faber.
A golf brand on the ice.
On the ice.
Got it.
They're coming out with a hockey collection, and Brock Faber and Dallas Stars goalie Jake Ottinger are also part of the brand. Pretty cool, unique video. You can go see it on
I liked it.
X. But it just kind of shows the personality, and super cool for them to include Taylor, these NHL stars making all this bread, making all this money, doing their thing.
They got their bag.
They do. Is that what the kids say?
That's what you say.
Yeah, it's true. Get in your bag. Get your bag. Cooper, super cool. It's a golf brand, but they're doing some hockey stuff too. They're killing it in the Metro, and it's fun to see. You've probably seen the hats around. All these young kids are wearing the Waggle hats with the big print in the front. It says Waggle on the side. It's kind of the new aura. Is that a word you're using, PA? Yeah.
When I see you Monday at 11 a.m.,
I can't wait.
Will the Minnesota Vikings be 3-3 or 4-2?
They will be 4-2. I just think that there's a lot of confidence coming off of the bye week. Hopefully, you probably know better when this injury report comes out, but Blake Cashman should be back wearing the green dot. I think he really helps your defense. And I think this team in the Philadelphia Eagles is searching a little bit. They're trying to figure out their identity. I believe their identity is giving the ball to number 26, Saquon Barkley. He's the person that I'm most, think that's most dangerous on this Eagles team. So if you can stop the run, you can beat the Eagles.
Well, at 10 a.m., we have a segment Nordo is going to lead called Birdseed. And it's the anatomy of a 2-game losing streak for the champions. And we dissect what, coming into it, we were like, okay, cool, let's figure this out. But after he put some things together, they may have some mounting problems here.
They got issues.
They do.
They may have some mounting issues here that they may not be able to get around like last year. That's 10 o'clock. Appreciate you, brother.
Love you, man.
Yep, love you too. Tell Taylor I say hi. That's Parker Fox. I'm Paul Allen. He's Eric Nordquist. This is 9 to noon at FM 100.3 KFAN. We got some money to give away momentarily. And all of this is part of TimberTech and TimberTech.com's What's on Deck set list, which includes Mike Florio, PFT, about 20 minutes from now. The Seattle sports vibe is second to none. Softy from Seattle joins at 11 o'clock to capitalize on said moment. And he'll share celebratory vibes with 9 to noon. Softy in the iHeart audio family, 11 o'clock. Cash thing right now. Good morning.
Good morning, the fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot at some bonus bucks. And all you got to do, National Cash Contest style, go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword grand. You might win a grand with the keyword grand. Just go to KFAN.com.
Mike Florio, PFT, about 10 minutes from now. Hyperbolic or hyper accurate? These statements. Hyperbolic or hyper accurate? And let's begin here. Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam will fire coach Kevin Stefanski before season's end.
Ooh.
Hyperbolic or hyper accurate? The team is 1-5 and averages 13.6 points per game. What do you think?
I think that they give him, I'm going to say it's hyperbolic. I think that they are going to part ways after the season. And and frankly, in the end, I think Stefanski should have his pick of the litter of the next head coaching opening. But that can't continue to persist. I don't know where your head's at on it. I don't see him. I think out of respect, 2-time coach of the year gets to finish it.
It's hyperbolic.
It's not a situation where we just can't have a Kevin Stefanski of all people in the building anymore. I think he finishes the year and then you move on.
Stefanski and general manager Andrew Berry received ballyhooed contract extensions into last year.
Oof.
So, that's
ouchie.
I don't think they were free agents. So maybe they put a 2 on top of a 1, maybe a 3 on top of a 1. Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year. And strangely, as Mike Tomlin pointed out, and we'll bring this up with Mike Florio.
So you did hear that from him yesterday.
Hear what?
The Tomlin audio where, well, Andrew Berry must just be smarter than everybody.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I read it.
It was terrific.
He was paraphrasing, he was like, brah, did you really just trade a quarterback who knows where bones are buried? Granted, he's 40, but knows where bones are buried to a division rival. It was just crazy. And I guess I never really looked at it that way. But
shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area.
Well, that's going to make for some comfortability in the Starbucks line at the JW Marriott in Indianapolis for the scouting combine. Who was it? Jordan Schultz, and was it Ian Rappaport?
I think it was, yes.
Yeah, we got into it in that Starbucks line. We'll see if there's an encore. We agree with hyperbolic. Now, a schedule will be required to go through the next one, so we'll hold off on that. Hyperbolic or hyper-accurate? With J.J. McCarthy eventually a quarterback and the wounded returning, Minnesota wins the NFC North. Hyperbolic or hyper-accurate?
Why do you put me in this spot?
Well, you can put them together and put me in the spot.
I think it's hyperbolic at this moment because even with the wounded returning, I would still say through 2 games, we don't know what we have in JJ. Mm-hmm. Love the NFC Player of the Week with the 3 consecutive scoring drives at Soldier Field. Not particularly excited about taking all those sacks and the issues that persisted in the Falcons game. I think it's hyperbolic at this point, but we do need him to play. That's kind of the tough spot that KO's in.
All right, something on which to chew for later, or maybe the feast. Hyperbolic or hyper-accurate? The New York Jets will be the NFL's first 0-17 team.
Oh my gosh.
Hyper accurate. We'll hit that with Florio and bring in Mike. PFT, we, ProFootballTalk.com, each and every Wednesday, 9 to noon, and it's next.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Pretty good. Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com, NBC's Football Night in America, author of books that do include Father of Mine and the newest Big Shield. Learn more at ProFootballTalk.com. And at ProFootballTalk.com right now, you must have just posted this because I looked at the website 20 minutes ago. It wasn't there. Tua Tagovailoa's Wednesday press conference will be interesting to say the least. What does that mean? And good morning.
Well, he made some waves on Sunday after their last-second loss to the Chargers, where they had erased a 26-13 deficit, came back, took the lead. Chargers drove down the field to get the win. He called out unnamed teammates for not doing little things like being late or, as he initially said, not showing up for player-only meetings. That created a lot of questions. Mike McDaniel addressed it on Sunday and downplayed it, but then by Monday, McDaniel, who apparently hadn't heard what Tua had said before he commented after the game, he said that Tua shouldn't have done that. That's not the place to do that, to call your teammates out like that publicly. It sparked media questions for 4 other players who met with reporters on Monday. Most of them said basically the same thing with different words. We keep things internal. So today is the day that Tua and others will meet with reporters. Quarterbacks who play on Sunday typically have their midweek press conference on Wednesday, and it's going to be a topic again. And that's the problem with taking something like that public. It raises questions. It invites follow-up. What have you done since then? Have you apologized to your teammates? Who are the teammates you were referring to? Have things gotten any better? Why did you do it? Yada, yada. So, and when you look at the transcripts, it's comical. Each of the 5 people who were available on Monday, right out of the gates, boom, 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 boom. Questions about what Tua said, because it's so unusual to have a quarterback put players on blast that way. I remember 20 years ago, it was a big deal when Peyton Manning, after a playoff loss to the Steelers, said, I'm trying to be a good teammate here. Let's just say we had some issues with pass protection. And that was a big deal. This takes it to another level, and it creates issues for a team that's currently dysfunctional at 1-5, and it's not going to make things any better.
Peyton Manning, when Mike Vanderjagt was on the team, called him the idiot kicker.
Liquored up kicker.
Yeah, that's.
I think he said idiot kicker got liquored up, and I don't know that he got liquored up, but that was because Vanderjagt, in an interview, made comments about whether and to what extent the Colts are in position to contend for a championship, yada yada, and Peyton didn't like that.
Well, how do you read into this? Because Mike's right, quarterbacks generally do speak on Wednesdays, so you'll have a Kevin O'Connell press conference today here. Then after that, it'll be Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy. How do you read into that?
They're both speaking?
Both speaking today.
Podium today?
Podium today.
Well, hey, they got a decision to make. As McCarthy gets healthier, as Wentz plays well enough, and I've been meaning to go back and do a deep dive of the targets and the catches and the production. I'm assuming per game Justin Jefferson's getting more from Carson Wentz than he got from J.J. McCarthy. I just wonder what the preferences are in the locker room. It's one thing to have the coach try to manage the situation and play the old Denny Green 100% card from 1998 when Brad Johnson broke his leg week 2 against the Rams. Randall Cunningham comes in. I'm looking at the Sports Illustrated cover, born again after that epic game against the Cowboys where Randy Moss had the all-time stat line. What was it? 153, 3 touchdowns, maybe 156. That Brad Johnson will play when he's 100%, and he was never 100%. and eventually they stop asking the question. So I feel like there's going to be a temptation to let this ride a little bit more with Carson Wentz, especially going against one of his former teams, the Eagles. Now he's got a bunch of former teams, but that's the team he first played for. You're tempted to see what he can do with 2 more weeks to get ready, and if Justin Jefferson and others are making it known directly or indirectly that they kind of like to let this ride, it's going to be tempting, I think, for the coaching staff to let Wentz give it a try. And then if Wentz struggles, okay, JJ, game day backup, ready to go if something goes wrong. Now, I haven't seen an injury report, and there hasn't been one since the last game. Carson got popped pretty good, and I know there's been a lingering issue about his health, but it sounds like maybe they're going to have both available. They're going to have a decision to make on Sunday or at some point before Sunday as to who the number 1 quarterback is going to be.
Wentz left shoulder, and he incurred that in the Tottenham Hotspur game. And
he admitted to me afterward it was stupid that he can't do that. You got 3 yards to go to the first down. You got 2 guys bearing down on you. You're just asking for trouble if you run into that collision.
With the bad shoulder, now granted it's the left shoulder he throws with his right arm, 9 for 9, including putting Addison on the final 3 catches in the game winner. Bad shoulder, he goes 9 for 9. So there's that. Now with McCarthy, first 2 games before the ankle, no Jordan Addison, no Christian Darrisaw. And Wentz has had Darrisaw mostly and Addison. Andrew Van Ginkel, one of the 2 most important people to this defense, in my estimation. Wentz has not had games with him, so therefore the Vikings have got gouged in the running game a little bit, where McCarthy had some games with him and Blake Cashman, and I think Cashman returns this week. It's not a schism, it's not a chasm, but it's very confusing, don't you think?
Well, and it's a microcosm of the off-season deliberations that created a lot of confusion. I know that folks involved in the 2 camps of Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy weren't sure what the Vikings were going to do about who their quarterback would be for 2025. There was confusion as to who was even making the decision. Do we continue to let it ride with what's working? Do we take a step forward, ideally, and not a step backward with a young franchise quarterback potentially and let him get his reps, let the game slow down for him? The more he plays now, ideally, and in theory, the better he's going to be later. So that's the challenge. How far do you want to push the guy who's got the experience? I mean, Carson Wentz has nearly 100 NFL starts now under his belt. How far do you push that in the name of winning now, while it also is going to impair and delay the development of J.J. McCarthy. That's the balance. Right. And at the end of the day, I'm going to defer to one of the best overall quarterback coaches, play designers, play callers that the game currently has in Kevin O'Connell. He'll know what to do. He'll know the right way to go here, and he'll know how to manage the situation so J.J. McCarthy doesn't get upset and understands this is about winning. And also, Carson Wentz has a long history of injuries. It's not like, I would not wager anything of value on the idea that Carson Wentz would stay healthy for the next 12 games and not put himself in a position where J.J. McCarthy is going to have to play because Wentz is out.
I got some speculation for you. Speculation in that it's created by me, and I just thought about it. I believe if Daniel Jones had been convinced he would be given a fair chance to win the starting job here, that he would not be a member of the Indianapolis Colts. What do you think of that?
I think that's fair. But see, the problem is when you're competing with a guy who has yet to play, there's a lot of organizational pressure given the fact that you traded up from number 11 to number 10 to get this guy. We've seen the other guys who were taken in that same range, 6 quarterbacks in all. All of them have been playing. Most of them, if not all of them, have looked pretty good. Caleb Williams is improving. Jaden Daniels has been great. Bo Nix has a team that is forcing its way into the Super Bowl window. Michael Penix Jr. is looking good. Drake May is looking good. There's a point where you're like, hey, we got to see what we have here. We got to find out what we have. So that was the tension. And I think Jones, personally, I think somebody pulled Jones aside and said, look, you're going to have more than a fair chance to beat out Anthony Richardson.
Yep.
And the Colts had seen enough of Richardson where I think Jones could take that leap of faith. I just think it's a more awkward situation in Minnesota because you've got this guy. It's almost like what the Giants had, where Russell Wilson was in a tougher spot to succeed with Jackson Dart there. And that would have been the concern. So I think you may be onto something. And, they really liked Daniel Jones to the point where, Paul, I don't know if we've talked about this, but there was a little smoke out there that when Jones got bumped up to the active roster late last year, they possibly had something in mind with him if the chariot stayed pumpkin for Sam Darnold. We all saw what happened in Detroit Week 18. If that had lingered and the Vikings had advanced past the wild card round, there's a chance Daniel Jones would have started in the divisional round if the Vikings somehow could have threaded that very small needle of Darnold not playing well and the Vikings somehow beating the Rams.
Well, this is anything but organizational turmoil for the Minnesota Vikings. However, speaking of organizational turmoil, and I saw this at ProFootballTalk.com this morning. All right, so the Titans fire head coach Brian Callahan. PFT has a piece I saw this morning indicating the recent decision for Callahan to not call plays. He had that taken from him. May have come from owner Amy Adams Strunk. I mean, if true, what do you think about all that?
Well, here's what I think, and this is the big picture view. Bad teams stay bad. Dysfunctional teams do dysfunctional things. And for the teams that are chronically dysfunctional, the dysfunction flows from the top of the organization, whether it's the Browns and owner Jimmy Haslam, the Jets and owner Woody Johnson. They don't accidentally stay bad. They're making bad decisions because the owner is making bad decisions, whether it's who he hires or she, or what it is that he or she does to actually meddle with the football operations. I think the key is you hire good people, you let them do their thing, and you just go be a fan. That's the right way to own a team. But it's tempting for people who own the team, and they have the right to do it. This is the problem. They have every right to do it. The problem for the fans is they have no recourse when it happens. And look at the dysfunction in Tennessee, the half measures. This guy gets fired, then that guy gets fired, then this guy gets fired. And there's a perception that Amy Adams Strunk will have someone in the organization that she regards as the person she's going to listen to. That person emerges with the power. It's like a Game of Thrones style experience where guys are positioning themselves to be the next one who's got the keys to the kingdom. So that's not good for anyone. And the biggest problem for the fans is there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. There's no recall vote. There's no way to fire an owner. Jed York said that when the 49ers were mired in, one coach every year dysfunction from Jim Harbaugh to Jim Tom Sula to Chip Kelly. He made the comment, you don't dismiss the owner. And that's the problem. Because what can fans do? The only thing fans can do is boycott the product, but it's hard to deprive yourself of something you love. It's going to take years and years where the fans become completely apathetic and find something else to do on their Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and whenever else they play for it to register on the bottom line. And even then, you got to try to lose money because you're getting 1/32 of all the shared revenue. So that's the problem. And I say this all the time. You have to pass 2 tests to drive a car, written and driven. You have to pass 0 tests to own and operate an NFL team. You just need to show up with a big enough bag of money, or your name has to be in the will. That's it.
Florio.
HOF.
What'd you make of Tomlin chiding Browns GM Andrew Berry for trading Joe Flacco to a division rival?
Well, I understand what Tomlin's saying, and also Tomlin would prefer to play Jake Browning on Thursday night and not Joe Flacco. Mm-hmm. So in a roundabout way, it did screw the Steelers for this deal to go down. But if you're the Browns and you've decided the Joe Flacco experience has taken us as far as we want it to, and we're going to turn this over to Dylan Gabriel, and if that doesn't work, Shedeur Sanders. If Joe Flacco is just there to be a veteran presence, which they already have in Deshaun Watson, even though he's not on the active roster, he's involved and he can help with these guys, and he's been very engaged, and he's working to try to get healthy. And hell, he could be on the roster at some point before the end of the season. But once you decide you're done, number one, you're unloading his salary. Not that it's that much, but you got draft pick value. You pick up an upgrade from round 6 to round 5, and the way the Bengals are going, it's probably going to be a high round 5 pick. So, yeah, it makes sense. And the Browns are a team that is driven by the numerical, by the objective, by the analytics. They're not going to think, oh, we shouldn't trade a guy in the division. They don't care. They got to play the Bengals again. They don't care. They don't care. They care about the future. And that's been their vibe for the last 10 years. Stockpiling draft picks, pushing cap space from one year to the next, all in the promise of a future that they continue to find a way to screw up. And brings us back to what we were talking about earlier. It all flows from the top with ownership. That's why the Browns kind of accidentally will have a decent year from time to time, but not nearly often enough for them to ever be viewed as a contender.
Time for 2 more.
Does Ben Johnson have these Bears set to hit on all cylinders?
Possibly.
Right.
Now, look, they've won 2 games they easily could have lost by the identical score of 25-24. It took a blocked field goal to beat the Raiders, and it took a fumble, and it was some luck involved. I see it's a talking point out of Chicago because Troy Aikman attributed a touchdown to luck, and ultimately the end of the game was luck. It was luck. The Commanders are getting ready to put that game away when the ball squirts out of Jaden Daniels' hands as he's trying to hand it off to Jeremy McNichols. So there is some luck, but there's also some skill and execution, and wins build confidence. And the key is, with a new coaching staff, wins get players to buy in to what the coach is selling, and that builds momentum. So you look at their schedule, they got some winnable games coming up. They come to Minnesota, I think week 12-ish, or thereabouts. But they got some games they can win between now and then. So they're moving in the right direction. And even in their losses, now they got blown out by the Lions, but in that loss to the Vikings, that's a win that got away from them. So they're in a position to put things together. And, you know, there's a chance that a team with a winning record is going to end up in the basement of the NFC North.
Lastly, and speaking of winning, Softy from Seattle joins the show later. The Seattle sports scene is on fire, man, with the Mariners and the Hawks. How good do you think these Seahawks are?
Well, I think they're pretty good, and Sam Darnold's playing pretty well. Now, you know, we all still remember what happened in Week 18, mentioned that earlier, but Jackson Smith and Jigba has become one of the best receivers in the NFL. They've got some flaws, but they keep winning. One of the big flaws is they can't win at home. The team that retired number 12 for the fans because of that home field advantage, they had earthquakes registering on the Richter scale in Seattle during that playoff game when they beat the defending Super Bowl champion Saints in 2010. The home field advantage is kaput, but they're unbeatable on the road. Either they need to play all their games on the road, or they need to. Remember when the Steelers went to the Super Bowl in 2005 and they'd won 3 road games? They decided to wear white even though they were the home team. Maybe the Seahawks just need to wear white at home.
The best. Thank you, Mike. Call you soon.
See you, Paul.
Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com. How about a little bird seed around the corner? Birds, as in the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. You know, there's a little squawking about private meetings with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown says, I don't know what you're talking about. And scribes are like, yeah, but Saquon and Jalen just said that you were in this meeting. So, I mean, it's starting to get a little goofy within the Birdseed Covenant. But is that it? There's no Brandon Graham, captain of the team, to jump up and squelch and or crush whatever's happening behind the scenes. Perhaps that's because there is more that meets the metaphorical eye when it comes to the champs on a 2-game bender. Birdseed analyzing all of that